Woohoo, sixth grade, we made it to Friday. And if it's not Friday, I hope that means you have worked ahead and you are just on it. So kudos to you. This is the second part of lesson 3. Please share your notes with me at the end of these notes so I can get your points recorded in RenWeb. And this is also the last bit of notes for Chapter 9, Populations and Communities. All right, letter D. Major types of interactions among organisms in a community. There is the one that we've already talked about, competition, and that's the struggle between two organisms or any organisms to survive. And we talked about things that animals compete for, and if we were in class, that's just a note for me to ask you guys to name some limited resources that animals fight over. One, it would be space and territory. Another one would obviously be food, and that's what those lions and it looks like a hyena is fighting for right there. And then another obvious answer would be mates. So you can see those, I don't know, what are those? Antelope of some type fighting for a mate. Another interaction that is very important between organisms in a community is predation. And that is one organism killing another simply to feed themselves. And that happens all the time and has to happen all the time for a species to survive. The predator is the one that does the killing, and the prey is the victim, the one that gets killed. So in our pictures below, we have the snake is the predator and the frog is the prey. And the bear is the predator, it does the killing, and the prey is the fish, it gets killed. And how we would say that in our food chain would be the fish gives bear energy, or the frog gives the snake energy. So if I was writing out a food chain for one of those, I would put frog gives the snake energy. Okay? And then before the frog, I could say a fly or an insect gives the frog energy, and so forth. Now in your notes, you're actually going to have to copy down what is in green. If we were in class, we would do this part together. Now, to be a predator, you have adaptations that would help you capture your prey. So sometimes they might be camouflage, they can hide out, like lions are the color of the grass and the tall grass savannas that are surrounding them. You have oftentimes muscular legs to give them speed, or just muscles in their jaws to give them powerful bites, especially with like alligators. There's sharp teeth to rip through the flesh and do killing. They have keen eyesight like your eagles to find their prey and spot movement. And ears that help them hear their prey. So of course, if predators have adaptations to capture their prey, prey are going to have adaptations to escape or hide from their predators. Obviously, there's camo, and you see walking sticks and all those, remember those insects we did? Some of them even just look like flower petals, and it's very hard to see them. So they hide from their predators that way. Mimicry, where they might look like a poisonous butterfly. You might have a moth that isn't poisonous, but it'll mimic a poisonous one. And so animals will leave it alone because they think it is a poisonous organism. So you see that a lot with insects. Insects are very popular, it's very common to have mimicry in insects. There's warning colors to say that, hey, I'm toxic. So it's the opposite of camo. Instead of standing or hiding, they stand out and they're warning people. Like your poison dart frogs are very bright in color, and people know or predators know to leave them alone, because if you eat me, you're gonna die. And then there's false colorings or eyes, and that usually just flashes and throws a predator off for just a split second and allows the prey to escape. So sometimes you'll see moths flash their wings, and all of a sudden a giant spot will flash before the predator and kind of startle them, and then the moth can fly off. Fish sometimes have weird coloring on their tails that look like eyes, and so predators get confused as to which end is the head and which end is the tail, and they're able to confuse their predators that way. Symbiosis is a relationship that you're going to be watching those videos. You see, I have 3 videos, and there'll be a 4th one on the other slide. So Monday, you're going to watch 3 videos on these 4 videos on the relationships animals have. And then you're going to have a Google form question on those videos. So pay attention to these notes, especially because they're also going to help you on your Google form quiz. Not only will the videos help you, but listening to these notes and taking notes will help you on your Google form assignment. Symbiosis is just a close relationship between 2 organisms, and one of them has to benefit. So as we see here, the alligator and these warblers birds have a good relationship, and actually both of them are benefiting because the warblers clean the alligator's teeth. And so what are the warblers getting out of that? They're getting food. What are the alligators getting? Clean, healthy teeth. And alligators need clean, healthy teeth in order to capture and eat their prey. So there are 3 types of symbiotic relationships. Mutualism is where both organisms benefit. And I just gave you an example there of the alligator and the warblers. Another example would be hippos and birds. Birds sometimes will land on hippos and eat the ticks off of them. And so the hippos benefit because they get their ticks removed, and the birds benefit because they get meals. So both organisms are benefiting. Parasitism is a relationship in only one organism benefits and the other organism is actually harmed. And we are going to see a cool video. It's like one of my favorite videos with the zombie snails. And you'll see that a parasite gets into them and takes over their bodies. So I'll let you see that in their video. So I'll talk about a more common parasite, fleas and dogs. Fleas eat the blood of dogs and it harms the dogs. It hurts the dogs. What benefit is it to a dog? The dog receives nothing, and in fact they just get very irritated and uncomfortable. But the fleas are getting all the benefit of food and shelter. And same with ticks on our body. Sometimes when we go out camping, we might have a tick land on us and eat our blood, and we get no benefit from this whatsoever. So those are parasites, where one animal is harmed and the other animal is benefiting. Commensalism is a weird one and less common. A relationship where one is benefited and the other just isn't affected at all by it. And the most common commensalism example that we think about in nature is an animal that's hitching a ride. So you have maybe an insect is on your jacket and hitches a ride. You have no idea. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't harm you, but the animal gets a ride to a new location. That happens a lot in the sea where animals hitch a ride with, sea turtles. They're not hurting the sea turtle, but they're getting the benefit of having a nice, faster, less energy consuming ride. So those are our notes for Chapter 9, Lesson 3, all wrapped up. Please share those with me and get your easy 10 points for this section of notes. Have a great weekend.